Morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Today's webinar is around branded helmets. So it's going to be to brand or not to brand. It's not even a question. So my name's Liam Visor, Senior Business Development here at JSP.
I'm Lauren Gallagher. I am the Customer Service Supervisor for UK and Ireland, and I also kind of head up on the Customer Service logo team.
So what we'll be going through today in the webinar is understanding the power of branding, what it can do to your company and the impact that has, as well as going through our JSP Logo Express service. So understanding the 3 steps, and then also getting an insight into how we brand. So how we use pad printing and the process of doing that.
So just to give you a little bit of a background, JSP was actually the first company in the UK to logo helmets with a brand. This was originally done on our Mark II and Mark III helmets back in 1978. Fast forward a little bit. So in 2003, we launched our Logo Express service, which we'll go into a bit more detail on the 3 easy steps in the next few slides.
Coming through to the present day, we can do up to 3 branded helmets a minute on average. But one thing that you'll never see from us is helmet stickers. So a reason, why don't we offer that? So the main reason is purely JSP, what we do is quality. Everything that we do is based around that. So with stickers, you have that potential lack of quality. The longevity of that sticker isn't there like it is a pad print. So a sticker might last a couple of days, a couple of weeks, depending on the environment that's in, and that starts peeling away. And ultimately, that sticker is a brand, and that represents the brand of that, in this case, company, and that, in this case, service. So so it's a key thing that we push. Also, there is a potential for that to be detrimental to the performance of the helmet. So the reason that we say that is if the sticker is not an approved sticker from, in this case, ourselves at JSP, there is a potential that the adhesive on that helmet sticker, helmet label, might impact performance of the helmet. Obviously, all of these are tested to a specific standard, whether that's an EN 397, EN 12492, and the potential to having an adhesive on that which disrupts the performance, obviously then can ultimately cause a risk to the wearer. So we've touched on already the power of branded PPE and how it's more than just what you see on a piece of clothing, on a side of a building, or, when we're on our phones. It's a powerful tool that can really enhance the brand visibility, whether that's a product or whether that's a service. It far outreaches just what you see people wearing, or even when you're on site in this case. It has the power to reach numerous audiences, which then in turn can actually impact the brand in such a positive way for additional business, as well as an increase in reputation. A few things that it also does have the influence on are the following.
So differentiation. So the branding helps the company distinguish its services from competitors, and it also makes it easier to recognize the brand, like Liam said, on a site.
There's also the emotional connection. So by having a brand which embodies, values, aspirations which match up to yourself and what you're looking to adhere to, whether that's personal, whether that's professional, i.e. for projects, in making sure that you get the right company on that site to do that project for you. All of this can then be highlighted and then broadcast through their branded PPE. Like I said, whether it's workwear or in this case helmets. And perhaps the biggest one of this is it helps build trust and credibility. A recognizable and reputable brand can inspire that trust. Consumers often rely on brands which they've had experience of before, that they can rely on the quality and the standard of the job that's being done. That's really important, especially, there's a cost associated with this, and getting certain end users to do projects, whatever it may be. You want to make sure that you're picking the ones which you've had previous experience with, that to do a great job, and like I said, are up to the quality in which you're after as well.
So as mentioned, in 2003, we brought in our Logo Express service. We're just going to go through in the next few slides the 3 easy steps for setting up a logo helmet with us. Obviously, we supply branded PPE to distributors for end users. So step 1 is product selection. So as you can see on the screen, we've got our range of helmets that can be logo printed. They all have slightly different dimensions, but that's based on the curvature of the helmet type. We've got 4 different positions that can be printed on. So we've got the front, back, left and right of the helmet. The maximum amount of colours we can print on each side is 6. So for example, you could have a 6-colour front print with a 6-colour back, 6-colour left and 6-colour right. These can all be different logos as well. It wouldn't have to be the same logo printed on each side. We've got a range of MOQs, which are kind of, they change based on the type of the helmet. So our specialized helmets kind of have a lower MOQ, but if it's a made to order helmet, it would have a higher MOQ.
Exactly that. And one helmet I just want to focus on here briefly is one of our specialized helmets in our Evo Outer. So I've got an example of one here without the front. So that front is really important to understand. So in this case, we've got a branded JSP front, back, left and right. And the beauty of this outer is that it's got an interchangeable front. So why is this important, and what's the benefit of this when it comes to branding? So as you know, that you will have end users which are on multiple sites. Traditionally, or multiple projects, I should say, traditionally, you'll have a helmet for project 1, project 2, project 3. What are you doing with those helmets once that project or that specific job on that project is finished? Often they're then being scrapped, hopefully being recycled or chucked away for waste, which unfortunately we do see. However, the beauty of the outer with the interchangeable front is you're able to use the same helmet for multiple different projects. So traditionally, or usually as a standard, it will come through with a plain front, as you can see here, which I've just clicked on. You can also get a badge holder. So you've got the badge holder here. Similarly, this can be clicked in and you can see it there. So this is one way of doing it. So you're able to then add your cards in there, whether this is a branding card, a personal card, and this can be changed as and when that's needed. But perhaps the most interesting part is we said we can brand on each part of the helmet. Because we've got the interchangeable front, we're able to brand fronts only. So you could have the same helmet that you use for 3 different projects, and you can have 3 different fronts printed out. And similarly, these can be clicked in as shown there with the front. You know, this is a really good and sustainable option to push. You know, traditionally, there's a lot of waste with PPE, and especially, you know, with us using virgin plastics, it's really important for us to be able to show different ways of being sustainable and how we're trying to reduce our carbon footprint as well.
So following on from step 1, once you know the helmet type and the helmet color that you require, we would then need a high-res editable PDF or EPS file. So on the screen, we've got 2 examples of an email sent to the logos team. On the right-hand side, we've got a bad example where we've received a logo embedded into an email, which we wouldn't be able to use to create artwork. And we've also not been told the specific helmet or helmet color required. So we wouldn't be able to progress further with that. On the left-hand side, you've got a good example where we've got a PDF of the logo as an attached file. And we've also got the helmet type specified and the helmet color specified. So we'd be able to progress to creating an artwork proof, which you'll see on the next slide. So at this point, we've got the artwork proof that's prepared by our logo production team. I just want to point out a few key features of the proofing document. So in the top left, you'll see the logo ID reference. This is specific to the distributor's account. So when you place an order, this is the code that you would reference. We've then got the helmet type, which is based on the helmet shell. So obviously that says Vista, that could then apply to a Vista lens or a Vista Shield helmet. We've then got the helmet color, print dimensions, and the logo on the proofing document is always prepared to the maximum size for the available printing area on that helmet. And then we've got the Pantone references, which we work with. Obviously, if you supply a specific Pantone, or if not, we can try and match as best as possible. But obviously, the key thing to note is the bottom part where we need a signed artwork approval, preferably from the end user, and that will help to then proceed with any future orders.
So once we have got through the Logo Express 3 steps, following then approval of the artwork and the order then being sent in to ourselves at JSP, then comes the process of how do we actually print the helmets. So the key theme that we'll be pushing on here is pad printing. So before we show a short video of that being done, we just want to go through some of the things that you'll see on there with a few props and just get an understanding, so you understand how it works and what the process is.
So obviously, once we've received an order and the artwork is signed as approved, the production team would create a laser etched printing plate, as you can see here. So bear in mind, obviously, if it was a 6-color print, we would have to prepare 6 different plates with the different aspects that that specific color would hit.
We've also then have the ink. So the ink will then be matched up to the Pantone reference that's on the artwork proof that was signed. And then ultimately, we've got the pad print itself. So this is really key. So the way that it will work is, in this case, with the JSP print, you've seen it on the printing pad that, or printing plate, sorry, that Lauren has just shown, JSP, one colour. So what will happen is the ink will then go onto the printing plate in the specific colour. The pad will then come down onto that print, lift up that print, and go down and push onto the front or onto the position that is being printed on. If the logo that we're printing on is more than one colour, there is a potential, because we can go up to 6 colours, that we will have 6 plates. So each part of that logo will be built up on those plates, and obviously the different colours will be then lifted up and then worked its way along to be pad printed. So we'll just show a quick video to highlight that being done. Like I said, just a short video there, which just, goes over what we've just discussed on the pad printing. And pad printing, it's not just for helmets. So we do also offer that on our ear defenders, in which you can see here exactly the same process. But yeah, great news. It's not just the helmets or the hearing that we can offer the branding on. So we do a full array of products in which has the capacity to be branded, from our bump caps, as you can see bottom left, where we have the option for embroidery or heat transfer. And then we've also got our traffic management and site maintenance products. So whether that's a 2-meter barrier being hot foiled or blow molded onto the barrier itself. We've also got our cones, so Dominator cones in various different colours and different sizes, and then grip bins. So obviously, depending on the time of year, something to consider, especially for councils, etc., where predominantly you see them. But look, if there's ever an opportunity or if there's ever an inquiry that you want to pass on to us, we'll be more than happy to help and yeah, support on that where possible. And like I said, we can do artworks and yeah, any sort of visual mock-ups for you if required. Outside of that, obviously, yeah, if there's any questions, we really appreciate everyone's time taking out their day to listen to us talk on the branding side. So if there are any questions, please let us know and we'll be happy to answer them. Obviously, if there are no questions, then by all means, feel free to drop an email into ourselves. So you can contact us on uksales@jsp.co.uk, or alternatively with our logos team, logos@jsp.co.uk, and we'd be more than happy to help where we can.